देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So we have studied Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogad Avaihi. Prajapati tells the sage Ashvalayana, what does he say? No, through these three qualifications. And what are the three qualifications mentioned? Shraddha. We saw what that was in great detail. Bhakti and Dhyanam, meditation. So both all the sadhanas were given. And then a further qualification is added in the next mantra. Let us look at that. Na karmana,
na karmana,
na prajaya, dhanena, tyagenaike, amritatvamanshuhu, parenanakam, nihitam guhayam, vibhrajate, yadyatayo vishanti. Yeah, this is very nice, beautiful. He gives the fourth qualification here, which is represented as tyaga, from the root verb tyaj, to let go of, to renounce. Tyaga. And let us see the translation first. Na karmana, not by action. You can keep on doing actions, not by action is this gained. Then what is it gained by? What is this first of all? Brahma Vidya, this knowledge, and the freedom from samsara actually. Not just knowledge, but the freedom that it represents. The freedom from samsara is not gained. Na karmana is not gained by karma. Na prajaya, not by having progeny. Maybe the word progeny has come from praja only. Yeah, prakarshena jayate iti praja. So, progeny, you have to look. Sometimes they'll say, in the dictionary they will say S-A-N-S, Sanskrit. They will have certain origins. And then, na karmana, na prajaya. And then, so if I am not getting this sukha, this ananda which is my own nature, by karma, if I am not getting it by praja, then what else? Dhanena. By wealth I am going to get this. See, because it is not, there is no na in front of dhanena. Look carefully. Na karmana, okay, I am with you, not by karma. Na prajaya, not by praja. Therefore what? Dhanena. Right? It's something that doesn't sound right. So what does it mean? That na has to be carried over here. Yeah. Na dhanena api. Dhanena api. So if you are not getting it by karma or by progeny, certainly you are not going to get this by wealth. Right? Then by what? Tyagena eke. Tyagena. Only by tyaga alone. And what is this eke? Eke is the plural of one. Eka means one. Ekaha, ekau, eke. It's very interesting that the number one has plural. How can a numeral one have plural, but in the Sanskrit language it's like English, because you say those ones I will have, these ones I don't want. See, we use the plural. One in the sense of the plural is used even here in English. Those ones that have tyaga gain this, eke, meaning a few, not everybody. A few people who have the buddhi to do the correct thing at the right time, to focus on this knowledge rather than all these three things that are given here, they alone gain this. What is this? This Amritattvam. What is Amritattvam?
Nectar of the self.
Nectar of the self. No, Amrita. Amrita means dead. Amrita, immortality. Amritattvam, the status of not dying. Because everybody wants that, you know. Everybody wants to not die. Then if we ask the next question, what is it that dies? Body dies, mind dies. And the fellow doesn't die really, continues, but that is not understood. So, Deha Parimanaha Atma means the body is as good, the Atma is as good as the body, that is the common lay person's thinking, you know. That's why, you know, if the body is fat, the person says, I am fat. The body is thin, the fellow says, I am thin. Body is sick, I am sick. Body is ready to die, I am dying. You see that I is completely, you know, intersected with the body and with the mind. Mind is restless, the fellow says, I am restless. So therefore here it says, Tyagena eke, Amritattvam, that real understanding of what is this immortality. That which is subject to birth will constantly be subject to birth. That which is subject to death will also be constantly subject to death. So, Tyagena eke amritattvam anashuhu. Anashire. It's a chandasam. It should be actually anashire. You know, from the root verb ash, to eat. Ashnati. And it's a form of that. So, they eat immortality, means they enjoy the immortal way of being, because they are not touched by samsara ityarthaha. So, tyagena eke anashire. And then let us look at the next, we are just translating, we look at it. We are looking at the grammar right now and just translating. Parena. Parena means parena nakam. Parena means that which is the most exalted. Nakam. So how do they gain this immortality? They go to a place called Nakam. What is Nakam? Very interesting. Kam means Sukham. Kam is Brahma. Kam Brahma, Kham Brahma, both. When you say Kham, it means Brahma. And when you say Kam, without the aspiration, that also means what? Brahma. Kam Brahma, Kham Brahma. So then, you negate the Kam. When you add the prefix Su, it gives like Sukha. That's happiness, which is really Brahman. So then you remove the Su and negate the Kam. How will you negate Kam?
Nakam. Akam.
Akam. Yeah. So Akam is Dukkham. Alright? Kam is Sukham. And therefore Akam is Dukkham. Then you negate the Akam. Na Akam. Na Akam. It's a double negative. So, not the unhappy place, not the not happy place, meaning the happy place. So, Nakam means that which is the most exalted happy place. And where is this place located? Nihitam, Putra. Putra Nihitam. You know, is it para means beyond. Is it even beyond the heavens? What is beyond the heavens? You, that's all. Nihitam Guhayam is present in the buddhi itself. And more about that we'll see. We are just translating now. And what kind of a nihita it is? Is it so deeply hidden that we cannot even understand where it is? Is that how it is? No, it is not hidden at all. Vibhrajate, it is shining. From braj to shine. Vibhrajate. Vibhrajate yat, that which shines. How does it shine? You have to light a lamp and show it? That kind of shine? No. You have to flashlight? No. It shines when the sun falls on it like a diamond?
No.
No. How does it shine?
On its own.
On its own. It shines by itself, self-shining. Yat yatayaha vishanti. Yati here means the sannyasis gain. Vishanti, enter. So they enter into this immortality, which is in the form of the knowledge located in the buddhi itself. You know? So that is the whole idea here. Very beautiful. So now this is the meaning of the verse. So let us see this. This one and the next verse is usually chanted when the sannyasi comes to the house or goes to a temple. That is what, and they have a custom where what is given is called the Purna Kumbha. Purna Kumbha means a pot of water that is dressed with either thread or something, and then on top of that they will put some leaves and invert a coconut. That is called Purna Kumbha. The coconut stands for wholeness because it is whole, and the coconut stands for wholeness because you can live off the coconut. You don't need anything else. Coconut water, here somebody brought me one. Coco Vita, yeah, Vita Coco. So, the coconut water has a lot of electrolytes, enzymes, vitamins, so many things it will have to nourish. And the meat of the coconut has, the fruit has the fat and very good fat. And so you can live off of that. And so therefore, the coconut is shown to the sannyasi because the sannyasi is said to be, the Swami is said to be whole because they are pursuing this knowledge of wholeness. So you pay respect to the sannyasi by showing this pot with a coconut. And in some parts like in Maharashtra and Orissa, they just give the coconut. They don't have this pot thing. They will chant this mantra and give the coconut itself. So the coconut is a very, symbolic fruit that shows wholeness. And that satisfies completely, and that has the power to sustain. And so too the sannyasis sustain the society just by being who they are. Even if they don't do anything, they are an example for everyone to follow. So by their very presence, they sustain the society. Plus they are usually living for the sake of other people and helping people out through teaching, etc. and Samaj Seva. So that is, social works. Through that also they sustain. And so therefore it is given to the sannyasi to welcome the sannyasi. These two mantras are chanted, And this is a very beautiful, it's a beautiful ritual, and it's a beautiful, next two verses are going to be very beautiful. So it says, how is this happiness called Brahman attained? You can only attain something that is away from you, correct? Yeah. So this apple is on the table away from me. People online cannot even see it. And then I bring it close and now I say, I am the possessor of the apple. And I'm not just the possessor, I'm just the possessor now. I haven't even started to, become one with the apple. Then the next stage, so first stage is stage is the sight of the apple. It's still far away from me. I look at the apple, there is Ishad Sukham, little bit of Sukham is there. Why? Because apple is very pleasant and it is an object of my want. And then so I see the apple and already certain changes are taking place. That's why all the food I had it removed to the other room, because changes are taking place in the nostrils of the students and nobody was focusing on the class. So the sight of it, when the sense organs contact the Ishta object, Ishta Vastu Drishtihi, Ishta Vastunaha Darshanam, the looking at the object itself creates a desire, correct? And then the action then follows the desire, because it's not the mind that is telling me to catch hold of this apple and bring it to me so that I become the possessor of the apple. It's actually the desire that is powering the mind. Yeah. So the desire is expressed in the mind and the mind tells the hand, what are you doing? You don't have paralysis, get up. Go here, go. Catch it, bring it to you. Even if it belongs to somebody else, doesn't matter. Snatch it from their hand. If the desire is too strong, it creates a pressure to go against dharma also. So then you become the possessor of the apple, then the sukha is a little more, correct? Yeah. Little more sukha. First is darshanam, and that sukha in the Taittiriya Upanishad is called moda. Ishtavastu darshanena modaha. No, sorry, priya. Priya. It is called priya. The changes that take place. What is the changes that take place? 32 come out. What 32? When you see the apple. A spontaneous smile comes. So this is what is called Ishtavastu darshanena modaha. The joy that is gained after seeing something that is delightful to the senses, delightful to the person. And then you take it from wherever it is. Let's say it's hanging on a tree. The person goes and picks it and brings it close. You now are the possessor of the apple or the object of desire. And then what? That is called moda. So first one was priya, when you are able to look at it and a little bit of sukha is generated. And then you possess it, little more sukha, because now the distance is getting less. First it was, how will I climb a tree? Will I break my back? Will I break a leg? How it is so far away? Are the neighbors looking? So I have to find a time when no one is looking because I don't know who the tree belongs to. And then so, can I pick it? All these things are there. So there is a lot of doubt whether I will get it or not. And then finally I pick it. And then there is a little more happiness. This is called moda. Ishtavastu praptihi. So Ishtavastu praptya, through the gain of it, through becoming the possessor of what is called Ishtavastu, there is a little more joy. Then what? Then you swaha. First you say aha, then you say swaha. Then you ingest the apple, correct? And then that is the final ultimate happiness that the jiva knows. Being united with the object of the desire is often seen as the ultimate happiness, because the ultimate that one can do in samsara really. So Ishtavastu prapanam and Ishtavastu anubhutihi, or the consumption or the experience where the object and the subject are united. What is the object? Apple. What is the subject? Aham, I. So I become one with the apple, the subject and the object become one, and this is true in everything. Then finally you get the final kind of happiness that is possible in samsara, and what is that called? Priya, moda and pramoda. Prakarshena modaha, pramoda. So these are the three gradations of happiness that people enjoy. After pramoda, what happens? That next question we should have the viveka to ask. Is it kam or akam? Akam, yeah, dukha. Why? That apple khatam ho gaya. Yeah. Dusra kab aayega? That one is over. That experience is over. I told you I met a small child crying into her ice cream. She was crying. I said, you don't like ice cream? I like ice cream. She's still continuing to cry. What happened? It's half over. 5-year-old child. It's half over. And now it's going to be 3/4 over. And then it is going to be completely over. So this is the samsari's lot is like this. As soon as pramoda comes, that joy, it's a predominance. That is why in the Taittiriya Upanishad it is called Anandamaya. Anandasya vikaraha. A modification of Ananda. It's not the real Ananda. It's only a little piece of that Ananda. Why? Because, it is a small piece of Brahman that you're enjoying. Yeah. Through the apple, through the 5 marriages, the 17 children, whatever it is, through all the karma that one is doing, Brahmanaha anandasya matrameva upajivanti jivaha. They only are able to enjoy a little bit of Brahman. But why? You just said they are Brahman. Yes, they are Brahman. Then if they are Brahman, how come they cannot enjoy all of Brahman? Because there is one thing that is preventing them. What is preventing them? Ignorance. What kind of ignorance? Ignorance of oneself. So if I don't know I am happiness itself, then I will settle down for all these Priya, Moda, Pramoda, then back to Priya, Moda, Pramoda, and you can have different other permutations, you know. Moda, Pramoda, Priya, Pramoda, Priya, Moda, etc. And so this way one is kept going in this wheel of samsara, because the desire for this Priya, Moda, Pramoda is a very intense cycle of its own. Because it reproduces itself. This is what is called samsara. One becomes a beggar for happiness. You can understand someone begging for something you don't have, right? So, de do, my bab ho, you know, you are the mother and the father. And then in Sanskrit, if you want to put it, bhavati bhikshan dehi. Oh, mother of the house, please give some bhiksha, give some alms. Why do you beg? Because you don't have, correct? That is understandable. You don't have. And you have dharma, so you are not going to go and steal it. So you say, please, if you have anything to spare, put it in this poor fellow's plate. Today, please give it. But what do you call a person who begs for what they already have?
Greedy.
Yeah, not greedy, ignorant. Ignorant. What they already have, they are begging double because they don't know. Oh, please give me happiness. Who? The Ananda is begging. Yeah. The one who is Satchit Ananda is begging of happiness. You know, please give happiness. Please give me happiness. Because this is what we are going to be studying today. All the classes are, you know, coming together. This is what we are going to be studying in the other class. What is that? Panchadashi, after lunch. And so this is really what it is. So what do you call a beggar? I mean, first of all, we have a word which is daridra. Daridra means the non-possessor of something. Someone who is very impoverished. So one who is physically impoverished can beg for clothes, money, a roof over the head or food. Understandable. But here we are not talking of someone who is, physically impoverished or materially impoverished. We are talking of that person who is spiritually impoverished through self-ignorance. Not knowing that I am the whole becomes a beggar. And in fact, in samsara, anything you do is begging only. Because when your joy is given to objects, the subject is forgotten. It's a sad subject. That's why everyone is sad, Ananda. There is a Swami by the name of Sadananda, but whenever he comes to the United States, everyone calls him Sad Ananda. because of that spelling. How do you spell Sadananda? S-A-D-A-N-A-N-D-A. So everyone is a sad Ananda. It's the Ananda that's upholding you. But everyone's name can be changed to Sad Ananda. Why? Being Ananda, one is sad. Being Ananda, one becomes a beggar at the table of life, looking for like a dog, you know. Please give me a scrap, one more, or thoda, please, please. This is, you know, crazy. And therefore, the Taittiriya Upanishad, to present this knowledge of Moda, Priya, Pramoda, has a beautiful analogy. It says that, let us look at this in the form of a bird. Tasya priyameva shiraha. The bird has some body parts. The head of the bird we can call Priya. This is just a bird that embodies Ananda. Let us look at this Ananda bird. So the bird should have a head. What is the head? Tasya priyameva shiraha. The delight gained from the seeing of the objects, let us say, is the head of the bird. Modo dakshinah pakshaha. The left wing is the gain of the object. Pramoda uttarah pakshaha. The right wing is the enjoying or the becoming one, becoming that so-called united with the object where one feels one is separated from. And what is the Atma of the bird? What is the essence of the bird? What is the soul of this bird? Ananda Atma. Ananda Atma. So Pramoda is non-separate from that Ananda, which is the nature of you, which is the nature of Brahman. Moda is non-separate from Ananda. Even Priya, the first of the three, is non-separate from Ananda. But Ananda is not any one of them. Got it? Yeah. And then the bird should have a tail, correct? And the tail actually gives the bird the stability. You know, that's why the tail is very nicely crafted. The swallow has a split tail going like this, and sometimes the tail is thick and sometimes it is thin, because the tail is what balances the bird both in flight and when it is sitting down on the tree. And so what is the tail? Which balances the entire bird. Brahma Puchham Pratishtha. Pratishtha. That is the foundation of all Ananda, is Brahman alone. There is no Ananda outside of Brahman. And that Brahman happens to be you. And if you don't know that, one becomes a beggar, called Jiva. The Jiva is a beggar, wearing the tatters of ignorance. Goes around in the streets, saying, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. And give you what? What you already have. What I already have, please give me. You know? And this is what is negated by the word so beautifully. Na karmana. So the begging is a karma or a non-karma? Tell me.
Karma.
Even if you mentally beg, it's still a karma, correct? Yeah. It may not be in action, but it usually leads to action. First one mentally begs, then one physically begs. Manasam karma. So, the begging is a karma. And anything that you do in life to further your happiness is called karma. It's a form of a sophisticated beggary, where each one is congratulating the other for begging so well. This is the beggary. This is what it is. This is madness. We are living a life of total and complete madness. It's all upside down. Total beggary, always asking, give me, give me, give me. And then what is mine, I'm going to protect. That is the source of greed. That is the source of jealousy. That is the source of krodha, moha, lobha, mada, matsarya, pride, arrogance. All is hinging on the first one. What is the first one? Kama. The desire for something what one has already gained. Not that the kama is wrong, but the kama is misplaced. Not knowing that I am the possessor of the infinite, I infinitely go on seeking for the finite. What a topsy-turvy priority it is. I become an infinite seeker, as I like to put it, instead of a seeker of the infinite. It's much better to be the seeker of the infinite than the infinite seeker. It's much better to have the bhiksha vritti, the beggary for the knowledge. Please give me this knowledge. Adhihi bhagavo brahma. Here also he asked, Adhihi bhagavan brahma vidyam varishtham sada sadbhihi sevyamanam nigudham visoda. So it's better to beg for the knowledge, for removing that ignorance which keeps me always a beggar. So this begging is also begging. So what's the difference between that begging and this begging? This begging is to remove all other sources of beggary. Yeah. This is the ultimate begging. After which there is no more begging, correct? Once you ask for the knowledge, there is nothing more to ask for. Because gaining this self-knowledge, you are repatriated with the truth of yourself, which removes samsara. That is what is told. Because karmana means not through karma. Through karma, what you get is a big headache. Yeah. What you get is a headache. Because karma can give you only things, only 4 kinds of things. There's only 4 types of karma, really speaking. What are they? First is called janyam. Janyam means it was not there before. Now it is here. Like before was seed, now I have watered it and made it into a tree. So the tree wasn't there before, at least not in the same form. So the tree is Janyam. For that I have to water and give fertilizer, etc. It's also called Utpadyam, same thing. Either it's called Utpadyam or Janyam, first kind of karma. Then the second kind of karma is something that has gone, something that has to be modified. Like you give birth to something after bringing together two things. You want to make yogurt at home, you have to take the yogurt with the live cultures, a little bit of that, and warm up some milk and mix it till the yogurt disappears without a trace, and put a lid on it, put it in a warm place. In India we don't have to say put it in the warm place because it's always warm. But here we have to say in the winter you have to put it in the oven with the light on, etc. And so that in the next morning you do it at night, and the next morning you have a perfectly nice set homemade yogurt. And then if you say, oh, I forgot to keep some milk for my coffee, now become milk quickly. It's not going to change, because this is the second kind of effect you can have through karma, which is called vikaryam. That which is to be modified can be modified. The third kind of action is called samskaryam. Samskaryam means cleaning action. Like if you have a silver pot at home, and after a few years, what does it look like? Pewter. It looks like it's made of lead. It's got a tarnish on it. And then you take some ash, or you take some silver polish, and then you take a rag and rub it, and a little bit of silver comes. Then you rub it a little more, little bit of silver comes on the, then the whole pot becomes nice and silvery, shiny. And then after a few more weeks, what you have to do? Samskaryam, you have to do it again. Then finally, the other one is called apyam. Apyam means to be reached, or gamyam. That which is away from me, and that I have already illustrated. That which is away from me, and I have to reach, like even this apple which is on the tree, and I have to look at it and pick it for myself. So, let us review the four. What are they?
Janyam.
Janyam or Utpadyam, that which you have to give birth to, that which is given birth to or crafted. And then Vikaryam, that where two things are combined, brought together to make a third thing. Samskaryam, where something is cleaned off and transformed in that way. And finally, Apyam, that which is to be gained, or Gamyam, that which is away from me. So which category does Brahman fall into? Is it Janyam? Is it something to be, given birth to? Then we'll have to look for the mother of Brahman. Where is the mother of Brahman? Is it Janyam? You say no. Why? Give me the reason why it is not Janyam.
Don't add
It's
anything to it.
limitless.
Janyam means that which is created. Is it created?
No,
No. Why?
because it's limitless.
Brahman is not created. Simple. That which is, that which was, that which will be is you. That's all it is. That you is called Brahman. It's revealed by the Shastra to be Brahman. So it's uncreated. So all the creative karmas, however creatively imagined, will not bring you Brahman. So the creative karma, you can put a little cross. You can cross it off. It's not going to be of much use. Then Vikaryam. No, I'm going to make Brahman appear by mixing a little bit of the finite, Satyam, and a little bit of the Mithya, Maya. I will mix together Satyam and Mithya, like this Bhel Puri. This is some kind of a amalgam of all kinds of things. They'll put some puffed rice, they'll put some fried fritters, then they'll put some, then that's the crunchiest part. Then they'll put some mashed potatoes, cut up cilantro, this coriander leaves, tomato, salt, and little 2-3 kinds of red and green chutney, and they give it to you. This is a snack. So like this I'm going to I'm going to bring together Brahman by mixing two things together. What are you going to mix together? Mixer is Brahman. The action of mixing is Brahman. That which is mixed is Brahman. And you who is doing this, who is mixed up, is also Brahman. The mixed up fellow who is doing this is also Brahman. So how are you going to create the uncreated and mix that which cannot be mixed? So the first two karmas, / cross. What is left now? Samskaryam. You know this, and this is in fact the modern day Vedanta. They say Atma needs to be cleaned. You know? Atma has become dirty. Right? Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Atma. That which doesn't become dirty is Atma. No, Atma has a lot of regrets. It did something bad in the last life. Atma doesn't have last life. Atma doesn't have any kind of janma. It's free of janma, free of marana, it's you. So then what are you going to, how are you going to show? Brahman has to be cleaned in order to be, Atma has to be cleaned to see Brahman. Arey, Mudha, Atma is Brahman, you know. Atma is Brahman. There is no other Atma other than that which is Brahman, because there is nothing other than Brahman. So what are you going to clean, to reveal? So there is that third one. See, now we are getting worried because 3 out of the 4 actions have been crossed off. What is the final one left? Gamyam. No, I want to go to Brahman. Gamyam. Okay, pack your bags, go. If you want, we'll stop the class right now, go to Brahman. You know, Brahma ke paas jao. What will you do? How will you go? First of all, what mode of transportation? Paidal jayega, walking you will go? Or you will take bus? Or you want to really go quickly, so you will take the plane? How will you go? Tell me. Go where is Brahman? The mode of transportation is Brahman. The destination is Brahman. How are you going to go? That is why we have that mantra in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that we chant before lunch. What is that? Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. Brahma is the destination which is already reached. It is already reached. For whom is the Brahman, is the destination for whom? That is already a reached destination. Who has arrived at Brahman? The person who says, you know, all the karma is Brahman. Karta is Brahman. And who is performing the karma? Brahman. And so supposing the karma is seen as a fire ritual. Yajna karma, Vaidika karma. What is the fire? Brahman. What is the ghee? The clarified butter that's being offered into the fire? The answer to any question I'll ask today is Brahman. Okay? Yeah? So what is the ghee? Brahman. Who is pouring the ghee? Brahman. What is the ghee being poured into the wood, the fire? Brahman. For what sake? To gain Brahman. And so the Yajamana is Brahma, the one who is performing the karma. Karma here means any action. He is Brahman. And everything is Brahman alone. So how are you going to go to Brahman? You cannot go to Brahman. You are already Brahman. Oh, but what to do? You have to know this. And some people after the class will come and say, I know I am Brahman, but how to experience this? What everything that you experience is Brahman only. No, but I don't like to have non-Brahman experiences. Everything is Brahman. How can you have a non-Brahman experience? It's like like the evangelists. Like there are some very strict evangelical groups in this country, Christian evangelical groups. They will say, the Bible says, there is only one God. Okay, theek hai. We also say that. There's no problem. One God, theek hai, no problem. And the next edict, the next commandment is, thou shalt not therefore worship any other gods. If there is only one God, how can I worship any other God? Tell me. if there is only one God, how can I worship other gods? So likewise here also in the Drishtanta here, if all there is Brahman, then how can I have non-Brahman experiences and then differentiate them from Brahman experiences? So even your sadness, Brahman alone it is. So when that's why I gave the example of sad Ananda, because the person who is sad is actually Ananda. It's the Ananda that is upholding the distress, the Ananda that is upholding the sorrow, the Ananda that is upholding the restlessness, the Ananda that is upholding all the negative states, really. And if you see that, you see how close you are to Brahman. In fact, you are one with Brahman all the time. Even when you complain, even when you are hungry, even when you are angry, prana is Brahman, anger is Brahman, everything is Brahman. Then what is Brahman? Not any of these things, that's all. That into which everything resolves, that into which from which everything as though emerges, and itself remaining uniquely itself, doesn't undergo any change. The last chapter of the Taittiriya Upanishad reveals this. Yato va imani bhutani jagante, from which all these beings have come, elements and elementals. Ye najatani jivanti, those which are born out of this are sustained by what power? Brahman. You know? Yasmin prayantyabhisam vishanti, into which everything collapses after the end of the kalpa, when the cycle of the so-called creation has gone. Tad Brahma vijignyasasva, inquire into this is Brahma. Tad Brahma, tad vijignyasasva. This is what, Varuna tells his son Bhrigu, when Bhrigu comes for knowledge. Because, Bhrigu says, goes to his father and says, suddenly one day, please teach me about this. Bhrigurvai varunihi varunam pitaram upasasara adhihi bhagavo brahmeti tasma etat provacha. This is how the story opens. So he goes for knowledge and says the same thing that we have heard here. Adhihi bhagavaha. He becomes the final begging bowl he holds the begging bowl towards the knowledge. Please give me this knowledge. The only thing that is keeping me from enjoying who I am, from knowing who I am, that's the only thing that is keeping me from Brahman, is knowledge, not karma. Because there are 4 kinds of karma, none of them are applicable towards Brahman, towards gaining that which is already gained. And then again another reason, not by karma, na karmana it is written why? Because through karma what can you gain? The finite. You can gain the finite. And anything that you gain in karma is finite. Why? Karma is finite. The number of, even the person who says, I have given away all the wealth to charity. Let us say, somebody like Bill Gates or somebody says that. I suddenly have a change of heart. I want to lead a simple life. I'm going to give away all my money in charity. And he writes a check, some rich man. The check will still have a zero or a number at the end, correct? It's a finite amount for which some punya will be given. You can go and enjoy some apsaras in heaven, you go to heaven, and you take the traveler's checks in the form of punya, and then you enjoy there till the traveler's checks run out, and then what? Kshine punye martyalokam dhadam iti vishanti. Emphasis added. So, when the punya kshina, kshina punya means when the punya becomes, exhausted, the exhausted jiva comes back to the earth. That's why it's called exhausted. The exhausted jiva returns to the earth. A dejected, sad jiva. Because in the heaven, this fellow was enjoying the concert of the heavenly nymphs by the name of Rambha, Urvashi, etc. Don't think you can get a green card by marrying them. No, you can't. They are also on temporary visa only. Yeah. All the denizens in heaven are on temporary visa. Yeah, I don't think I'll go get married to Indra. You know, if one is a woman, one can say that. Indra will sponsor me and keep me there. No, Indra is also getting nervous. Anybody does 9900 yajnas, he is nervous that he will be replaced. So when people start being very good, Indra sends his minions to test them. The story goes like this: to put a cold shower on them, so that they start getting tempted to the path of wrongdoing. This is what happened to Harishchandra. Harishchandra was a king that was given to truth. All the time he said the truth, ran a exemplary kingdom. Indra got jealous. Oh, he's being so good. You know, because punya vishesha, this is I told you, you become a denizen of heaven if you have too much punya. So, too much punya is also a golden shackle, correct? In this sense. And so, the Indra, who was watching this fellow from afar and said, I'm getting nervous. And he sent 2 people to take away the kingdom, to fight against him and take away the kingdom. So, Harishchandra lost the kingdom. He was still cheerful, still holding on to the truth, and the kingdom was wrested from him by force. He repaired to the forest because they chased him, they were going to kill him. So he, along with his son and wife, repaired to the forest. There they had to go through so many trials and tribulations, because there again he was so truthful and he was just an exemplary person. And Indra got more and more nervous, and to test him further, gave him all kinds of difficulties. And then there was no job, so he took the job in a funeral ground. The person who makes sure all the bodies are burnt. With a stick, he keeps pushing them into the fire. And, because when the dead body goes on the fire, certain gases are released and it looks like it's getting up. So you have to, calm it down. Yeah, it's not getting up. It's just it's a reflexive movement because of the certain motion of the gases and the fluids inside. So therefore you have to push it back to it's not a very, nice, savory job, but this is the lowest paid job in the whole country perhaps. And that is the job he took up, because nobody is giving him a job and he cannot reveal his identity. People are after him. So he grew a beard, disguised himself, and was doing this job of a chandala, a funeral groundskeeper. And then final cruelty, because the gods got jealous. What did they do? The devatas. Gods means these denizens of heaven. These devatas got jealous, and then the final thing, they made a scorpion or a snake, something bit the little boy, Rohitashva, and he died. And the wife was forced to take the body of this child on her back and beg of her husband, please cremate him. And he says, not without a fee, because I don't own this ground and I have to collect the fee from everybody. Pun intended. So from every person who I cremate, I have to collect the fee. She's very dejected because they own nothing. And then she says, what is the fee? She says, a bundle of rice or a piece of cloth. She says, the only piece of cloth is what I'm wearing. How can I give that? He says, well, you have to give that because this is what it is. And as she's removing the piece of cloth, the gods cannot stand it anymore, and they restore the kingdom, restore his glory and his fame and name, and revive the child. That is the story. So you don't think that going to heaven is going to be the ultimate, because there is a lot of confusion between moksha and heaven. Because people say when people die, there is a proverbial saying, they gain moksha. They gain moksha from you, that's all. They don't have to deal with you every day. So in that sense, they are blessed. So they didn't really gain moksha from the original problem, which is what? Not knowing the truth of myself. The seeking person. The one, the beggar, they didn't gain, redemption from begging. That is what we have to understand. This beggary, this constant beggary is the thing. So karma is finite, karma phala is finite, correct? Yeah. But then why are the janmas infinite if the karma? This is a good question. I'm surprised nobody has asked me till now. If karma is finite and karma phala is finite, and then you say the number of janmas is infinite, how? How? And this is what Bhagavan Krishna also responds in chapter 3. Chapter 4, he says, Gahana karmano gatihi. The ways of karma are very wily. You cannot catch them. You cannot explain them. And the idea is, if you have had one life in this, in a human-like existence, it could be on any other planet also. Nowadays there are so many Goldilocks planets. There could be another planet where life is possible. And there what it means to be a human being may be different. The human being may have wings, may have some jet propellers where they just go around in the sky. You don't know. But the common thing should be human-like existence means free will should be there. And free will means it's like a free wheel. You can do whatever you want, like a Ferrari car with a free, with a wheel. It can go anywhere. You can crash it into a tree. You can crash someone else, crash it on somebody else. So like this, the karma becomes meaningful. Action becomes meaningful when there is intent behind it, which is why the animals are exempt from all action. Yeah. The donkey kicks because that's what it does. Scorpion bites because that's what it does. There is no such thing as a non-biting scorpion. It's not possible. It's against nature. Because they have certain way of protecting themselves. If anybody comes and threatens that protection, they will bite. Snakes, scorpions, etc. And you can't go and have a dialogue with the snake. Look here, snake, I don't intend to harm you. Please don't bite. It will bite before you finish the sentence. Why? Because it's threatened. It feels threatened for its survival and that of its young ones, so it will bite. So that's not even the point here. The point we have to understand is that the karma is, when you have a human-like life, the number of karmas generated are so many because you have violated dharma. Endless numbers of karma is in the person's account. One human life, enough. That's why you say jiva, it doesn't have beginning. Anadi. Jiva is anadi. Jivatvam is anadi. So this jiva, this anadi jiva, from aneka janmana, through many, many births, has been accumulating. And then each time you have an animal form, you are exempt from doership because the animal just experiences. And then after that you go back again to having the human form. And again you accrue so much karma because you go against dharma because of the desires. And in one person's account there is so much karma. Chitragupta, the original Guptaji, the original accountant Gupta. And so the surname Gupta is that which belongs to the people with occupation of accountancy in India, from Chitragupta. So this Chitragupta is Bhagavan in the form of the one who is the giver of the law of karma. So the karma is a law. As you sow, so shall you reap. And so all these karmas are standing in your account. And so really, if some more karma if you do, it's like another, ocean. It's not a drop in an already intensified, big, endless ocean. It's not going to free you from the storehouse of karma waiting to fructify life after life after life after life. I can keep saying it's life after life after life after life after life after life. You can keep on saying this. And for every karma, for every set of karma, there is an incarnation, a perfect incarnation. Jellyfish. Jellyfish karma. Have you seen jellyfish? Yeah. It is transparent, looks like a parachute and keeps going like this. They are very toxic also if you touch them, because that's how they protect. They are so, vulnerable. So it keeps going like this, transparent. So who could, this is just a joke, okay? Yeah. For the one who in the last life played the cards close to the chest. I'm a very private person. I can't tell this one to everything is, hidden. Next karma, jellyfish. The whole anatomy is seen. Yeah. Octopus karma. Another, the whole animal is just hands and legs, appendages. Why? Because this fellow in the last life had a finger in every pie. In everyone's business he, interfered. Octopus karma. Water buffalo karma. This man was a devout bhakta and also happened to be the CEO of many firms, was very stressed. and prayed, "Oh Bhagavan, in my next life give me a stress-free existence." Buffalo karma, water buffalo karma. Water buffalo karma, why? Because when the water buffalo crosses the Indian road, everybody else gets stressed because they have to wait until the whole herd crosses. You cannot cross them, you know. They don't get stressed. They will stand in the middle of the road, look at you, look to the left, look to the right, and just, chew the cud and then slowly move, wait for their friends, and when their friends come, they will slowly move to the side of the road. And 50 of them decide to cross at the same time. Yeah. Water buffalo karma. Hippopotamus karma. In the last life, the person had a problem with weight. Always said, "I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm so fat, I don't like myself, I'm so fat." And Bhagavan is so perfect, hippopotamus bana diya. Made this person into a hippo. Why? Because hippo doesn't have the feeling I'm fat. There's no such thing as a slim down hippo. A hippo that does yoga, downward dog, Yeah. Paschimottanasana, not for the hippo. Yeah. Hippo doesn't have any complex. Once I remember, there was some animal sanctuary in Rajasthan, and there you can, give the hippos are there in their enclosure, and you can throw them some sandwiches, raw fish sandwich they would make and give you. You have to buy that, of course, and then you can throw it. When you throw it, the fellow can catch very well. These hippos, yeah. Other things they don't see very well, but food they see. Yeah, somehow. Food they are able to spot, and I suppose the smell guides them, even though they cannot see. And so the sandwich, which to me looked so big, it was quite a big sandwich. And somebody purchased and threw, and when it reached the hippo's mouth, it was the size of one of its teeth. That's all. Yeah. Just fit one of the teeth. The whole sandwich. So like this. Hippo karma. And under the sea creature karma. Why? Because the person during the last life was always glub, 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 feeling I'm drowning, I'm drowning, I'm drowning. Yeah. Dog karma. Dog karma, why? Very territorial in the last life. Anybody came near, the person would start growling. Bhagavan said, just be comfortable, keep growling, protect everything. Dog karma, cat karma, So many karmas waiting to fructify. That is why it says, Jantunam nara janma durlabham. It is very difficult to get the human life. And, Yagyavalkya, the sage, says to Gargi that this human life is very difficult to gain. Bho Gargi, oh Gargi. And Gargi is the head of a sabha in the King Janaka's, not the Janaka who is the father of Sita in the Ramayana, another Janaka in the Upanishad. He was a very, learned king, and he had a big sabha, an assembly of all scholars and pandits and very brilliant people. And Gargi was the head. This sage by the name of Gargi, she was the head of this. And when Yagyavalkya came and wanted a seat in the sabha, she was asked to examine him to see if he fits into this, the brilliance. So she was asking him some questions. And she asked him an interesting question. She says, who is the Kripana? Kripana means the miserliest person on the planet. Who is the miserliest person? And Yagyavalkya has a very interesting answer which nobody understands except Gargi. And what does he say? Bho Gargi, yaha, asmat lokat praiti, atmanam aviditva praiti. Bho Gargi saha kripanaha. The one who departs this universe, this jagat, without knowing the Atma is the stingiest person on the universe. What is the connection with knowing the Atma and not knowing the Atma and being stingy? Because the stingy person is the one who hoards and doesn't make use of what they have. Here the person is holding the buddhi and not making use of the buddhi, because the buddhi in the human incarnation alone is there to pursue this knowledge. And if you are not using the buddhi, you are the stingiest person. And that is what it's going to be told later. That is what makes you keep coming back, because the original problem, one of self-ignorance, until it is resolved, is coming back. That is why the sannyasi is revered in this tradition, because those who have given their life to not coming back in any way. And that is what is explained here. Na karmana, these people did not gain this amritatvam, this immortality, because immortality is not something to be produced, it is uncreated, it is your own nature, you are neither subject to birth or death. Na karmana, they did not do this by karma. Karma is finite, effects of karma also finite. Na prajaya, next one. Not by having progeny, not by having children. Children give a lot of joy. It's wonderful to have children, to have someone to care for, to watch them grow, to watch them transform, and to feel like you're doing a good contribution to society by raising good children. They give a lot of joy. And also children do another favor, really. They help you psychologically overcome some of your own issues when you were a child, so that you raise them differently, than how your parents raised you, if that was a mistake. If that wasn't a mistake, no problem. But if supposing there were some things that your parents did that you didn't want them to do, and then here you have an opportunity to redo that with your own child. You say, oh, sometimes it's a generational thing. In the older generation, they never believed, at least in India, they didn't believe in praising the child too much. They would say, oh, this fellow will become hot-headed, this fellow will become arrogant. So they wouldn't praise the child too much. They would just not encourage the children too much. That was part of that kind of a philosophy. But now it's very different. The children need that validation. We know this through so many things. So now having children means having that opportunity to do this differently. Yeah. So prajaya na. Prajaya na. So by praja, what do you get? A lot of sukha here. Sometimes lot of dukkha also, because they don't obey you. Whatever you want them to become, they will become the opposite of that. Yeah. That is why every child in ancient India would, even now, many times they will have the word prasad at the back. Durga Prasad, Rama Prasad, Krishna Prasad, like this. Sai Prasad, like that. They will take one God's name and put Prasad, meaning this is an offering from Bhagavan. This doesn't belong to me. That's why I always joke. We have a very idiotic politician in India, very idiotically behaved person. Got into a lot of controversies. His mother must have been very clever, because she named him Lalu Prasad. So that is how it is. So like this, we have, the way of kind of not, banking on the children to give you moksha. Children don't give you moksha. Children give you moksha, maybe children prepare you for the knowledge, because you realize nothing works. So you have to prepare for the knowledge, you cannot manage them, you cannot control anything about them. And sometimes you doubt whether you have given birth to them, because they are not like you at all. How did this fellow come out of me? You think like this. How did this person come from me? So different from me. That is because they are different. The parentage is because of karma. Really, you didn't give birth to them. And so they cannot give you moksha, na prajaya. And then, na dhanena, not by wealth, because wealth is finite. And that more we will see when? Tomorrow evening class we will see more. Wealth also is finite, and the finite wealth is not going to give the infinite. And if you look closely at these three words, I'll give you a small little thing and then conclude. So, no, we still have some time. Yeah, wealth, because wealth is in time. We still have a little time. I'll finish that first line. Wealth means it wasn't there before, correct? Mm-hmm. And then you generated it through what? Through karma alone. How else do you generate wealth? Already we have said karma is finite, so we don't have to say wealth is finite. But since wealth has a, wealth has a big value in the human mind, it is negated. It is negated. Wealth is finite, and you know, how do you know wealth is finite? Because you keep spending it. Everyone knows wealth is finite. That much viveka everyone has. Why? Because by the 30th of every month, you know that wealth is finite. You know, before payday, everybody knows wealth is finite. Before the paycheck is deposited into the account, one knows this. One is very well schooled in the fact that the wealth alone is finite, nothing, you know, it's not infinite. And then finally, why the wealth is mentioned separately, I'll tell you, this is the trick to this, is that here the sannyasi is being praised, the tyaga is being praised, the giving up of everything alone will give you moksha. That's the beginning for this moksha, is praised as a value. And so there are three desires generally associated. One is called, you know, lokaishana, going to places. Aishana means desires. Lokaishana, going to lokas. And through karma you can go through heaven. We just discussed that. Lokaishana. And then the next one is putraishana, the desire for progeny. That also has to be given up. Desire for lokas, either here or in the hereafter, the wanderlust of the jiva has to be given up. The desire for putra, progeny, not just the desire for progeny, but the desire that the progeny will take me to places where I haven't gone, that should be given up. And then finally, vittaishana, the desire for wealth. These are the three vows that the sannyasi, you know, takes. The giving up of the desires for progeny, wealth, and various lokas. And so the karma is negated. Putra and you know, the children are negated through this, and the desire for wealth is negated through this. So these three things are given up. And so that is why these three things, the one who gives up is called a sannyasi. And now we'll see this more tomorrow. You don't have to become a sannyasi. You have to have the inner disposition of a sannyasi, even though you are in the world. And how to do that and how to proceed with this, we will see tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I will not take questions now because we have a class very soon. So after this next class I will take questions, so you can ask at that time.